Welcome dear students. Our current session focuses on expansion of the vocabulary of English language with particular focus on compounding. I hope and expect that by the end of this session, you would be able to understand what is compounding and how has it affected English language in the modern times. Well, my dear students, a considerable number of words are formed by compounding in English. If I define compounding for you, it is actually a combination of two or more than two free morphemes to create a new word. Like many languages, English allows the formation of compound words by compounding together shorter words. If you look at the screen, you would find certain examples. For example, airport, seashore, fireplace, footwear, wristwatch, landmark, and flower pot. And in fact, there are a lot of words that we use in our everyday use. However, it is not taken to the extreme of German or Dutch languages because there is a trend of creating comparatively very long words by combining words or by compounding words. In English, the compounds that are made are usually of very, very, short morphemes that are taken or words that are not very long. As far as English is concerned, most of the compounds have both the parts that are nouns. The commonest type thus is noun plus noun combination. Look at the examples: sheep brand or water dock. Ink pot can be another example, by the way. There is also a fair number of the type where adjective and a noun are combined. If you look at the screen, you would find some examples. For example, Frenchman or freshman. Though rarely, but we also find examples where a verb is combined with an object. For example, scrapepenny, which means a miser. English may allow for different meanings depending upon the order of these words. So, in a compound, the order of the words would determine the meaning of, that particular compound, which means if you change the position of these words, the new compound that would be created would have a different meaning. Here is an example. Notice the word houseboat. In the word houseboat, house and boat both are nouns, and house comes first and is followed by boat. If we change the sequence, boathouse. And I'm sure you can understand that the meanings of both the compounds are completely different. Here is another example: basket work or work basket. Again, two nouns combined in each. However, if we change the position, the meanings are different. The third example that I would like to give here is of casebook or bookcase. Again, when you change the position, the meanings are completely different. In fact, compounding has led to some other phenomenon in English language as well, and that phenomenon is called blending. There are some examples of blending that I'd like to share with you, which would help you understand what blending is and how words are created through blending in modern English. Motel. We all use this word. Motel is a very, very common word that we use in our everyday life, and it is actually a blend of two words, motor and hotel. Another example that we frequently use is smog. Sometimes we say that a particular city, for instance, Lahore, has smog nowadays, which means there is a combination of smoke and fog that results in what is called smog. Another example is chocoholic, which blends chocolate and alcoholic. These two words are brought together. A very interesting example from the modern times that I would like to share with you is of the word earworm. Well, this is only very recently that the word is being used, and the word means actually a song or a tune that once you hear it, it gets stuck in your head. You cannot forget that. So it is called earworm. Again, it is a combination of two nouns, by the way. Here is an example of its usage. That new Taylor Swift song is such an earworm, which means I'm stuck with that song. I cannot forget that. Another interesting term of this blending is, example is staycation, which is a kind of a vacation that you take at home, where you prefer to stay at home during vacation instead of going out to some other place, or instead of traveling. Here is an example of the usage. I'm having a staycation this summer as I'm trying to save money. So staycation is a combination again of stay and vacation. Another recently emerged example of blending is Webisode. A Webisode is again a combination of two words. Web and episode are combined to create the word web episode, that is called Webisode. And actually this is for all those, releases of, episodes that are purely for online, release. So here is an example. There's a new Breaking Bad Webisode online. Have you seen it? So, the word has become common very recently. Crowdfunding is another blending example of blending that is used. It is a kind of a funding for a project or something that is done, through small investment by a lot of people, and generally it is done through websites, etc., where online people are requested to do that. I would give you an example that is slightly different in terms of usage. The example is of the word handover. Typically, this word has a more political significance in terms of gaining land or ownership. However, with the passage of time, in the modern times, now it has gained a different meaning. And, in the modern times, it is generally, its use is in the workplace. And actually, this is kind of passing, over control or responsibility, handing over responsibility to somebody, for example. Here is on the screen an example that you can see, which is like, I'll send my notes in a handover email so you can continue the project while I am away. Binge watch, a term that is very, very common amongst the youth, is again watching multiple episodes of a TV show, one after another in a single go. So, that is again what youth does. They would not have time to watch television and to wait and then watch an episode. What they would do is, once a lot of episodes would have been released, they would sit and in one go they would watch number of episodes. This is called binge watch. Here is an example of its use as well. I'm planning to binge watch the entire series of Game of Thrones this weekend. So, what I would say is that through the process of compounding, which has also led towards blending, a lot of words have been added into the vocabulary of English language, and this process has gathered speed during the modern times.